Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah, we're super excited to have FlavorCloud. Everyone, this is Mike Sanchez, Chief Revenue Officer of FlavorCloud. We're super excited because one thing we talk about at ShipBob is expanding globally. And some people can't start out just putting inventory into one of our international facilities. It doesn't make sense. They can't afford it. They don't have the volume there. So a lot of people are going to ship from the US cross border. And there's a lot of things that come up when you ship cross border, and a lot of places that shipments can get stopped. And so I'm excited for you to talk about Flavor Cloud and how you guys help people ship cross border very easily, pain free, and also how you're working with ShipBob to help our merchants.
Awesome, looking forward to it.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, well, I will take it from here. So give me 1 second while I share my screen here. All right, so let's get going. So thanks for the introduction. My name is Mike Sanchez. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at FlavorCloud. So today, what we're going to be hitting on is talking about how to expand your business with international shipping. So really excited about this topic. This is right in the wheelhouse of what we do great here at FlavorCloud. And we'll talk a little bit about the pain points and a few other things here. So before we get going, what I want to say is we do have our live chat open. So we have a few FlavorCloud folks in the chat right now. So at any point during the presentation, if you guys want to throw some questions in there, happy to answer them throughout the presentation, or we can also tackle them after the presentation as well within our virtual booth. So to kind of start off on the agenda and what we're going to tackle today. So first we want to get into is just a general international shipping overview. So talk a little bit about what it means to ship internationally, what entails within what goes on in it. About cross-border. So talk about not only the opportunity of a cross-border, but also where we're seeing a lot of the market go as well. The other piece is also how are merchants solving this today? What are our merchants talking about and what are they saying? And then we'll go a little bit into how we're solving this at FlavorCloud as well. So to start off, let's talk about the challenge. So anybody who's ever had to do with international shipping at one point or another, this is even including me, who is trying to help my wife, sell antiques online. When she was running a business a few years back, is international shipping is incredibly hard. It's confusing because you have to think about different taxes, duties, and fees that are different by every single country that you're either going to ship to or ship out of. You have trade compliance rules where some countries may say it's okay to ship a certain product over to them. Some will be completely against it. And you also have poor customer experience because when you're looking to go to ship something from, say the US to, all the way across the world, the amount of different touch points from last mile to the main carrier to first mile to every single thing that you have to go do in between there causes a lot of potential challenges that can create a really bad poor customer experience. And then also traditionally, usually what you would do is you'd go to maybe the current carrier that you're working with and say, hey, how can I go figure out how to go sell internationally? The challenge is that it takes one carrier outage to put your entire international shipping strategy, at a halt. So there's a lot of different nuances, a lot of different things that make this, incredibly difficult to get this off the ground. So I'm going to throw a couple of quick questions, which if we're probably in a live audience, it'd be a little easier to ask these, but, we'll kick this off and I'll do this very, I would say rhetorical, but, you have the 6-digit number here. What is this? Well, this is the first 6 digits of a 10-digit HS code. This also attributes to men's cotton pants. Why is this important? Well, when you think about every product out there that you're looking to sell online, if you're looking to go internationally, you have to assign a HS code specific to whatever product that you're selling. If you start thinking about, wow, I'm starting to sell hundreds of products, 200s of products, thousands of products, this can be a very big administrative task to not only initially classify your products, but also maintain it. And the reason why this is important is because these codes is what is used to, when you're going to go ship cross-border, to understand, can it, how does it fit from a trade compliance perspective, tax, a bunch of other things that have to go through. Here's another one. you see a shipment there with some cologne and perfume. So you would think, hey, is this allowed to ship in Spain? It's not. Almost all cosmetic imports are banned in Spain. Honestly, if I didn't come and work at FlavorCloud, I would have no idea about this law whatsoever. I would totally think that if I was spinning up a fragrance company, I would think Spain would be a big target for me to go and to go ship into, but something that is not allowed. Thinking about dangerous goods. So out of these two, you're looking at lipstick and nail polish. What's classified as dangerous good? Don't look too dangerous to me. However, nail polish is, and that's something that you have to take in consideration depending on different laws for different countries that you're looking to ship out into. So how do you collect VAT if you're shipping an order to the UK worth 140 pounds? So, one approach would be if you're doing delivery duties paid, the seller needs to collect that VAT and duties and remit at the border to customs for 140 pounds. Or if you're doing delivery duties unpaid, the consumer is then responsible to pay carrier for VAT and customs directly upon receiving shipment. That's a lot of shipping terminology, a lot of things out there, but essentially what this is breaking down into is that if you're looking to go do international shipping on your own, these are all the different things that you're going to have to actually start thinking about to put into your own process, to your own workflows, to ensure that you're creating an amazing consumer experience when you're trying to sell online. And then also don't make the process so complex that you're actually going to hurt your conversion at the same point. So these are extremely important things to be thinking about when you're looking to go sell internationally. So the first thing I'm thinking, or I would think, is like, okay, well, that sounds extremely tough to go do. That sounds really hard in order to go implement. So why would I even bother trying to go do international if it's such a headache? And I'm thinking of just like, man, I'm going to hire people to go and manage some of these things. Well, the big piece of it is that right now the global e-commerce market is looking to grow by 30% from 2021 to 2024. That's 4.89 trillion to 6.39 trillion. That is a massive, market opportunity there. And according to DHL, we're also experiencing just general business growth overall is going to be growing from 10 to 15%. So when you start to think about, if you're a brand and you're starting to think about, how do I go and increase sales, and you're seeing this huge market opportunity that's happening globally, well, this is somewhere where you're going to have to go and figure out, well, if my competition is going to be making a move here, well, we definitely need to go make a move to figure out how to capture some of that market share. So when we think about cross-border overall, it's increasing. This is a really cool stat that came from eMarketer, but when you're thinking about the Asia Pacific region, by 2023, they're projected to have greater than all sales in the world combined, in the rest of the world combined. That's amazing. So you're thinking about the APAC region, that they are going to overtake the rest of the world for driving the most e-commerce sales. It primarily is due to rapid urbanization, technological investment. So again, if that's where global commerce is going, having a strategy to make sure that you're ready for that type of growth, is going to be something that's going to have to be in the forefront. So like a big piece right now is like 80% of online buyers have recently made a purchase from foreign sites. I'm included. I've bought a few things from foreign sites and had them come over to the US. 70% of retailers worldwide agree that cross-border commerce has been profitable. So while this comes from eMarketer, I mean, we can personally validate that that our current customers that leverage FlavorCloud do see this as an incredibly profitable part of their business. And I think one of the big things that we're starting to see, and we probably saw this a little bit with a lot of the supply chain things, issues that we've had, on the news with imports coming in from APAC, is 84% of B2B commerce comes from the non-Western continents. With Asia, it's about $6 billion. So there's all these things that are happening out there. So if the market is going this way, then having to think about, okay, this is around the time you have to start thinking about what does that international strategy look like. So as we continue to talk about the increase, this is one really interesting stat that came from Visa, is the 66% of companies that sell globally online cross-border, 31%, or call it a third of that revenue, is driven through cross-border sales. That is, and that's across their entire revenue stream. So that is an incredible number. So the first thing I'm thinking about is like, who are those 34% of companies who have not put in an international strategy yet? Because if you can go and you're to say in 2 to 3 years, if I were to start selling internationally online and that could maybe one day make up a third of my online revenue, I think that would be a pretty big investment you would want to consider. Also, total retail sales has gone up from 14.1% to 22% globally. So that's also a big trend there. The purchasing power now has become more than just outside the US, where 85% of it is going to be actually coming outside of the US. So again, this is not just a domestic play here. Now, the power of buying, especially when you start thinking about, the way I kind of think about this, if you go back to 2020, May, April of 2020, when, at the peak of the pandemic, most brands, they all had to figure out ways on how to go and sell online. Some were ahead of the curve and had tremendous success and tremendous tailwinds from that. Others had to make, drastic measures in order to get online. Well, now you fast forward 2 years from there, well, the majority of brands are or do have some type of e-commerce strategy right now. But now the next thing is, how do you take that e-commerce strategy? Because now e-commerce is almost table stakes. Everybody should be selling online. How do you now go power that globally, internationally? And I think that's what's going to be that next phase of growth that you're going to be looking at. So when you think about what are the components to ship internationally, 5 categories we look at, right? Duty, taxes, and fees. These are the things that you have to go pay depending on the country that you're shipping to and the type of item that you're looking at. HS codes we talked about, right? Aligning a code with your products and having those classified through your entire catalog. Customs clearance, being able to handle all the paperwork and information in order to clear customs. Delivery duty paid versus delivery duty unpaid. So this is a big conversion optimization, and then also just general headache to kind of get rid of, which is how can you make sure that you go and smartly calculate all this stuff up front, charge your consumer up front, and making sure that everything is handled throughout that process versus DDU puts a lot of that effort onto the consumer itself. And then you look at shipping service as well, which is how do you go handle how you get from point A to point B with the products that you're shipping out. So when we think about how do merchants solve this today, we kind of put this in 3 buckets. You have a DIY cross-border selling, which is you hire people, you own this, and you have to go take on all of that type of responsibility to make this successful. You partner with limited flexibility, which is you can look at these kind of like all-in-one players where you say, great, I can go somewhere that handles my checkout, my payments, everything else that goes under the umbrella, which is actually not a bad way to kind of get off the ground. But then when you start hitting a point of growth, you want to make sure you have some flexibility and be able to optimize on conversion, and that means not having like one throat to choke where you're just using one type of provider. You want to be able to kind of take advantage of what are the best possible opportunities, the best possible routes, the best possible rates, depending on which countries I'm going to be shipping in. So where FlavorCloud fits in is we kind of fit in on this third area here on the right. So talking a little bit about our solution, we kind of look at this at 7 different points. One, we kind of automate the entire end-to-end experience. The second piece is we manage the largest cross-border carrier network with over 300 plus carriers that we manage from the large carriers that you know of, from first mile to last mile and everything in between. We have an intelligent algorithm. So as we look at this entire massive network, our algorithm can go and look at, depending on the products that you're shipping, the lanes that you're looking to consider, we can go figure out exactly who are the best carriers, who are going to provide you the best rates and the best routes. So that is going to help tremendously when you're thinking about when a customer is at checkout, being able to see this stuff transparently and having some confidence that we're going to be able to kind of nail that down. We are very much partner first, so we integrate easily into any shopping cart. So our platform is headless. We consider it headless logistics. So while we do have pre-built integrations with the Shopify and BigCommerce, we have an open API approach where you can integrate us anywhere you would like. And we are a fully managed service. So when you think about leveraging us, you can almost look at it as we're going to look to you as a carrier. Just like if you're if you're in your e-commerce admin and you want to go choose a specific carrier for domestic, it'd be the same thing you would be choosing FlavorCloud for international. So we are the fully managed service. You call us if there's problems. We manage everything from end to end, tracking numbers, the whole 9 yards that goes with everything in between there. And because of our massive network, we're able to negotiate incredible great rates, which, our merchants are able to take advantage of. And then also we handle multiple service levels. So then that means that we can give a lot of optionality of what you want to go accomplish there. So when we think about, what are the results of our merchant scene, we've had 149% revenue increase that our merchants have seen, which has been absolutely incredible. They've seen a 2x conversion uplift in checkout. And then also they've seen a 20% uptick in average order value. So again, if you were to kind of go and say, hey, if I were to go at this international strategy and do this in a way that makes it efficient, where I don't have to go through all of that administrative work in order to kind of get there, this is where a lot of our brands are taking advantage of this. And then, and lastly, talking about one of our, key success stories is with Tomboy X. So in 6 months, we were able to increase our international sales by 1,500% year over year. I mean, just incredible. And they continue to do just incredible business. We've helped them with expedited delivery. We helped them with a really quick, easy install. We've saved them $30 of savings per shipment, and we've completely eliminated all customs holds and fees and completely taken over as merchant of record. So we handle all that stuff for them. So this has just not only helped them focus more on their business, it's allowed them to get into more markets fast and profitable as well. And that wraps us up. So again, I think to sum up this presentation and what this looks like, I think it's international shipping can be extremely complex. It can make it extremely challenging to go get this set up. But at the end of the day, by choosing the right partner to make this efficient, it can also be your biggest differentiator to your competition and be able to get your brand and products out to the rest of the world. So yeah, really pumped up and excited, not only with our ShipBob partnership, but then also the great things we're doing for the rest of the ecosystem.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. We do have some questions in the chat. I'll read them to you. Bob asked, do you work with US-based companies only?
No, we can work with, we're not just US outbound, so we work with companies internationally.
Awesome. Okay, another question was cold international shipping. This is probably more geared towards us. We don't have temp controlled facilities yet international. That's something we're looking to do in the future. Do you guys support, does it matter if you guys support cold international shipping for FlavorCloud? No? Okay.
Yeah, that'll be something that obviously working with a ShipBob, that'll be more on the ShipBob side for that. Okay,
awesome.
Then what is the extent of your integration with Shopify? So we're in the Shopify app marketplace, a very simple integration. So we have kind of an onboarding process that we walk you through, but we'll get your HS codes, your shipping weights, your DIMs, talk and work with you to understand what are all the different routes that you go through. And then once we're able to do that, that's kind of where our algorithm kicks in and we'll do some test orders. And honestly, yeah, not too hard. I think the biggest thing will be on who you're using for also like your 3PL. So like if you're using a ShipBob, really simple. We're already integrated with ShipBob and those launches can almost get off the ground within 30 minutes to an hour. And but if it's a 3PL, say that is not integrated with us, we'll have to go look at that and take some time to work on integration.
What's the startup time? I think that's probably the biggest question. Like how fast can you get them set up with this depending on the number of SKUs that they have? Does that matter?
It really, I think the two biggest things are if you already have, say your HS codes and they're already in a spreadsheet and there's something, say you're already doing this internationally, right? So you've gone through your classification, you know exactly what your weights are, the types of boxes that you're looking to ship for. And then you're also, say, partnered with one of our 3PLs, like a ShipBob. That onboarding process can take like between 30 minutes to 2 hours and you can be off to the races. Now, if there's a part of like HS code classification, yes, we help with some of that. We don't do it all, but we do help with guidance and what that looks like. And that's a part of our onboarding process, right? We try to kind of go and handhold through that process, but that is something that we are working on. We are working on kind of an engine there to help with making that a lot easier going forward.
Awesome. Do you also support WooCommerce and ShipStation, Bob asked?
So we have a open API. So while we don't have a pre-built WooCommerce integration like within the plugin ecosystem, actually I think one of our agencies did build one, but we haven't actually tested it yet, personally. So we had some people build some stuff there, but no, it can be integrated with WooCommerce. So it'll just be API driven, so that you can either, if you have development resources, you can take that on your own, and then, or if you want to hire an agency, they can help with that integration as well.
Awesome.
And then as far as ShipStation goes, we don't have the integration directly with ShipStation, but we do with a couple of other shipping providers.
Awesome. Okay, everyone. So I'm going to pop the link to their booth in the chat. I don't think we have any other questions, but thank you so much, Mike. That was so insightful. Really giving the groundwork and really accessibility with FlavorCloud to ship internationally and just get past that fear of doing it, because you could do it so easily. So thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. Come join us in our booth and we can definitely jump into more questions. See y'all soon.
Bye, everyone.